Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome again to Enjoy English School. I'm Bruce.
大家好，我是 Bernice.
Today and tomorrow, we have a 2-day lesson from our Features category. We just take something that we think is interesting and we want to share with you. And what we're sharing is teddy bears.
哇 OK 好，我们今天讲的这个专题特写呢，我们所选出来的一个非常有趣的主题，就是大家都很熟悉的泰迪熊。
Okay, let's take a look together. Day 1, remember, tomorrow we continue. This is more of the history about teddy bears. The timeless teddy bear is actually named after the 26th U.S. President, Theodore Teddy Roosevelt. Timeless means it's always with us. Some things like a robe, for example, a piece of clothing called a robe, was worn thousands of years ago, and until now, in some cultures, and even people who aren't part of, say, the Middle Eastern culture, they like to wear a robe because people just like something and they always seem to like it for a very long time.
好，这边呢我们要讲的是泰迪熊的历史哈。那一开始呢，他讲到是这个 timeless 这个字，我们中文翻成永恒的，就是它不会因为时间而去影响改变它的。这个 teddy bear 就是这个泰迪熊，它其实呢，它为什么叫 teddy bear？ 它这个名字 actually 实际上呢是 name after， 是以什么来作为命名的？就是呢，这个美国第26届的总统，好，因为他的名字里面刚好就有一个 Teddy 这个字，所以呢，就是用他这个名字来做命名的。
Theodore Roosevelt is his official name, his birth name, but Theodore is a little bit long and difficult to spell, so people who know somebody named Theodore often call them Teddy or Ted, T-E-D, as a short form for some of these longer names. Mike instead of Michael.
Yeah.
Bill instead of William. Sometimes the names don't look related, but they actually are.
Okay.
And this was Teddy Roosevelt. Why do we use the quotation marks? Because that was not his official name. That's his nickname, a name that his friends would call him. He was the first Roosevelt president. The second one was before and during World War II. F.D. Roosevelt, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. In Taipei, we have Lo Si Fu Lu.
Yeah, 罗斯福路 yes.
And that is the sound for this family name of Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt was about 1900. At the end of the 1800s, the beginning of the 1900s, Roosevelt was the 1930s and 1940s. I remember those well.
Wow, 好棒，老师是很棒的历史学家。
When you have a lot of history, then you know a lot of history.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue.
Okay.
Teddy Roosevelt loved getting out into nature. Get out into nature means to go out, leave the city, leave your house, and enjoy the mountains, the beach, the ocean, fishing in the rivers, and things like that. That's getting out into nature.
好，这边呢讲到这个 Teddy 之所以有用 quotation 的意思呢，是因为它不是他的真正的一个名字，它是他的 nickname， 就是他的小名，他的绰号，所以你会发觉他在写的时候上面用一个 quotation。那么这个老罗斯福呢，他其实本人是非常喜欢外出到什么地方，他喜欢接近大自然，就远离尘嚣，然后接近大自然，这样子。
The bear part of the name teddy bear. Now we know where the teddy comes from. Well, what about the bear? It comes from a hunting trip which the president went on in 1902. He loved to get out into nature, and while there, he would go fishing, he would go hunting. He loved the outdoors. O-U-T-D-O-O-R-S. One word. It means outside your doors of your house, but it really means way out in nature.
好，所以刚才老师讲到那个 outdoors， 它是指户外，但是这个户外通常是指说离你的家是蛮远的，比较接近自然。所以因为呢，我们要知道这个名字啊 ，Teddy， 我们已经知道怎么来的。那 bear 这个字从哪来的呢？他说其实是有一次呢，这个总统呢，他在1902年，他去一个 hunting trip。这边的 went on 原本是 went on a hunting trip， 就是他去这个打猎的一个旅程里面，结果在1902年，这时候 bear 这个字就出现了。
During this trip outdoors, the president's fellow hunters captured a bear. Now, capture means to catch and control a bear and tied it to a tree. Odd thing to do, but they were hunters and they had an idea which we will talk about in just a moment.
OK， 好，所以在这一次的这一个打猎之旅之中呢，这个总统他的 fellow 就是跟他一块儿去的这些同行的人，那其中有一个 hunters 呢，他就抓到了。这个 capture 刚刚老师讲，他除了抓到，还有你能够控制住它，所以就说捕获到了一只熊，然后他们就把这个熊呢绑在一个树上面 ，tie to， 记得借机使用 to， 哈，不是 on the tree，no， 是 tie to the tree， 所以把它绑在那个树上。
They are his fellow hunters. They then invited him to shoot the animal. After all, they were on a hunting trip. But let's see what happened.
对，所以接着呢，他的这一些同行的伙伴就说：“总统，不然这样好了，就邀请他说来把这个 animal 这边 shoot， 就是射杀它，我们来杀这只熊吧。”
However, he, Teddy Roosevelt, refused, as I would. This is no way to kill an animal. If you feel you have to kill an animal, you should follow it and have a fair fight, as we say.
所以呢，接着呢，总统当然就是 refused 啦，他拒绝了，因为我们知道嘛，你既然是 hunting， 你就应该追着他跑啊，再去杀他，绑在树上这样打死他有什么乐趣，对不对？
对。Okay, let's stop here before we go on to the second paragraph with a short break.
好的。
All right, the second paragraph now. This story made the news in a cartoon which was seen all around America. Teddy Roosevelt was a very popular president. You should read some history and you can find out why so many people really liked him. And when the news about his hunting trip and how he refused to shoot a bear that was tied to a tree, that was made into a cartoon in one of the big newspapers, so many, many people saw it.
好，所以当时呢，这个老罗斯福总统他的这样的一个举动，就是他这样子去 hunting 的一个 trip 里面，然后他拒绝射杀这一只绑在树上的熊，这一段故事就马上 made the news， 就是登上了新闻版面，所以就上新闻了。而且呢，是在一个怎么样卡通里面。那这个卡通呢，是全美国都看得到的一个卡通的这个新闻版面里面。
One New York toy maker saw the cartoon and had an idea. Sometimes we say got an idea from something that made him think, maybe I can make a toy out of this. He's a toy maker.
Yeah, 所以呢，就有一个纽约的玩具的这个制造商，他就看到这个卡通啦，他在当下呢就有了一个这样子的一个想法，一个 idea 出现了。
He made a stuffed bear and called it Teddy's bear. Now, it's a toy. He didn't use a bear to do this. He used a pillow. I don't know. I didn't see it. But people liked President Roosevelt. And if you said Teddy, everybody thought of the president.
Yeah, 所以呢，这个制造商很厉害，他就立刻呢说，哎，那这样子好了，他就用了一个 stuffed bear。什么叫 stuff？ 就是你把东西塞进去。好，他就把这个一个布娃娃里面，一个像熊熊的布娃娃里面塞了很多的这个，比如说棉花啦、棉絮啊在里面，然后呢就把这一只熊熊就称之为 Teddy's bear， 因为它这个比喻就是比喻那一只绑在树上然后没有被射杀的那只熊，所以他就用这个 idea 做出这个熊。
Though the name comes from a U.S. president, Teddy's bear,The toy was enjoyed far beyond North America. North America includes Canada, the United States, Mexico, and many smaller countries in Central America. But at that time, over 100 years ago, Europe and the United States and Canada had very close relations. And so even in Europe, Teddy's bear became popular.
好，所以虽然呢这个名字是从这个总统而来的名字，可是这个玩具呢是都被大家所喜欢，而且是 far beyond，far 就是来修饰这个 beyond， 有远远的超出这个北美，所以就是说连北美之外的这些国家都喜欢 teddy bear。Okay,
let's take another break here and come back, and then we'll finish our final paragraph for today's lesson.
好的。
Okay, we're going to begin and finish the final paragraph, and remember there's much more tomorrow, too. A German company, now remember far beyond North America,In those days, Europe was a long way away. It took weeks by ship. In 1902, there were no airplanes, so you had to go by ship, and not all the ships made it from Europe to the United States, the Titanic, for example. So traveling such long distances was amazing.
Yes.
But even so, this idea of the teddy bear became popular even in Europe. And a German company in Europe began producing or making or manufacturing its own toy, which they called the Steiff Bears, in 1903, 1 year after this event of the president's hunting trip.
好，所以后来到了德国了。好，德国就有一间公司，所以像刚才Bruce老师讲的，在当时你要去德国，那是多么长的一个距离。所以你看，即使到那么远的一个地方，德国呢，他们有一个制造商，一个公司呢，就开始来制作这样子自己的一个玩具。那他把它称之为这个名字，也是一个熊熊。然后他制作的时间是在1903年，1902年发生这件事，他们1903就做出了这样的一个熊熊了。
These bears, the Steiff bears from Germany, were later introduced to the U.S. Maybe they sold quite well in Europe, maybe, but the big market would have been in the United States because that's what the bears were named after. And at that time, people began to call, whether it was the New York toy maker or the German company, they began to call them teddy bears.
对，所以呢，这些熊熊后来呢 ，later 就之后呢就被引进到了美国，因为毕竟这个 Teddy 这个名字还是从美国来的，所以引进到了美国呢，这时候就给它了一个新的名字，那这个名字就称之为 Teddy Bear。The
toy quickly caught on. To catch on simply means to become very popular. More and more people learn about it and like it.
好，所以接下来呢，这个 toy 呢就很快的 caught on， 所以 caught on 就是开始流行起来了。
And remember, this is 1902, 1903.
Yeah.
And now, in the time we live in, it can be found worldwide. Every airport I have ever been in my travels has some toys because children need toys when they're on an airplane.
没错，
And you can always find a teddy bear. It's amazing.
没错，所以呢，你看到了现在，以前的时候就是你可能只有在那个当下看到，在某些国家有 teddy bear， 可是现在全世界你都可以找得到一个 teddy bear， 因为就像刚刚 Bruce 老师讲，他去旅行，小朋友可能坐飞机，他就需要抱一个 teddy bear， 他才会有那个安全感，对不对
？And sometimes the teddy bears are bigger than the children.
对，很大一只。
Recently, in the times very close to now, people have begun to celebrate Teddy Bear Day. Now there's even a Teddy Bear Day.
Do they have a day off on this day?
No, it's not a national holiday.
哦 OK， 好，所以我刚问Bruce老师说这一天可不可以放假呢？他说不行，这不是国定假日。所以到了最近呢，人们就开始去庆祝 ，celebrate 就是去欢庆，就是他们庆祝这一天的这个日子就叫做 Teddy Bear Day。
How do they celebrate Teddy Bear Day? They find their old or new teddy bears, give them a hug, and, well, there's no and here, but yes, take some pictures. Of course, today everybody takes pictures.
Yes.
And share their love for those cute toys online.
Yeah.
Is that what you call a blog?
Yes.
That
yes,
sort of thing? People communicate with each other and here's my teddy bear. Do you have one? Let me see yours.
好，所以呢，这些人庆祝的这个方式呢，就是第一个，先去你家呢，找出你的以前的旧的也好，新的也好的 teddy bears， 然后先抱一抱它啊，乖乖哦。然后抱完之后呢，照相来，这是我的 teddy bear。好，然后照完相之后呢，就把这些东西分享在这个网站上面了，把他们的对于 teddy bear 的这个爱就分享在网站上面。
Okay, that finishes our text. We have a short review after just a moment.
好的。
Okay, the one word I want to go over with you, or it's a phrase really, in the second paragraph at the beginning we have made the news. This does not mean that someone has a newspaper or something like that. Somebody does something or something happens that you will find on the front page of a newspaper. So it's very important or very interesting and everybody is talking about it. In addition to made the news, we also say made the headlines. Head, H-E-A-D, L-I-N-E, usually with S, the plural. If you make the headlines, that is the most important news because it's at the top, the head, it's at the top of the newspaper. And that's what everybody wants to learn about.
所以我们讲到这个 made the news 就是指你上新闻了。可是如果呢，你是非常非常最重要的那个新闻，你就会上头版新闻，所以上头条。所以刚才老师讲那个 headlines 就是头条，也就是像现在如果以前是看报纸，就是报纸的第一面那个最大的那个标题。那如果是你现在上网络，就是你一点进去那个网站，你看到的一开始第一个主页面。它出现的那一些新闻，就是它所谓的 headlines， 就是非常重要的新闻。
Right. Okay, that's it for today. Please join us tomorrow and we'll continue telling you about teddy bears. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
第24页专题特写，经典不败的毛茸茸玩伴泰迪熊。
Teddy bears. The timeless teddy bear is actually named after the 26th U.S. President, Theodore Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt loved getting out into nature. The bear part of the name, teddy bear, comes from a hunting trip which the president went on in 1902. During this trip, the president's fellow hunters captured a bear and tied it to a tree. They then invited him to shoot the animal. However, he refused. This story made the news in a cartoon which was seen all around America. One New York toy maker saw the cartoon and had an idea. He made a stuffed bear and called it Teddy's Bear. Though the name comes from a U.S. president, the toy was enjoyed far beyond North America. A German company began producing its own toy, Steiff, bears in 1903. These bears were later introduced to the U.S. and got the new name Teddy Bear. The toy quickly caught on, and now it can be found worldwide. Recently, people have begun to celebrate Teddy Bear Day. How do they celebrate? They find their old or new teddy bears, give them a hug, take some pictures, and share their love for these cute toys online.